The AFC East, we're previewing it here today. You've got Drake May and the new look Patriots. Can the Dolphins finish a season strong? Can the Buffalo Bills avoid regression after dumping a lot of veteran starters due to cap concerns, cap constraints? Can Aaron Rodgers and the Jets stay healthy? We'll be tackling all these questions and more on our AFC East preview. This is Rogue Football. I'm your host, Jordan Lugo. This year, we're going to preview every division here on the channel. Predictions on how teams will place within the division, key questions and storylines for each team. So we're going to dive into AFC East here today. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. So I expect the Patriots to finish fourth in the AFC East. And that's not because I don't like the direction they're heading. I really do. I love that they were able to land Drake May in the draft. I think the Commanders absolutely gifted them a franchise quarterback. I love the wide receivers they added. Talking about Jalen Polk, Javon Baker. I think the defense should still be very good. But when you have a rookie quarterback, it's going to take time, especially a rookie quarterback like Drake May. He's young. He does not have a ton of starting experience. The college he was in at North Carolina is not going to have a ton of translatability to what Alex Van Pelt and this New England offense is going to do in 2024. All the veteran holdovers are going into a new offensive system as well. So there's a lot of newness, a lot of growth that will need to happen. They're changing all of Drake May's footwork, and it's just going to be a process, right? Gerard Mayo going into his first season as a head coach. Bill Belichick not on the sidelines anymore, right? Gerard Mayo's first season as the head coach of the New England Patriots. Alex Van Pelt's first year there as the offensive coordinator. I just think that they're probably a year away from really being able to take a big step forward. You need repetitions and practice. You need in-game experience for all these young players, for all the vets that are in new roles and new situations here. I do think there are some questions about the offensive line a little bit for me at certain spots. So much youth in the passing game, as I mentioned. I think Drake May has every tool you could possibly want for a franchise quarterback. I also think that Drake May is a gamer. I think he's a winner, somebody who's going to be able to compete at the highest level as a quarterback in the NFL with his arm talent, his size, his athleticism. I think he's got it all. I like the Patriots' direction a lot. I think this defense will keep them very competitive. I think there probably will be some games where they jump out on some teams because the defense is playing at a high level and Drake May's natural talent marries with what Alex Van Pelt's trying to get done on offense. And I think the Patriots are going to have some really impressive games. They also have some veteran talent on this offense when you talk about the skill positions that's often overlooked, right? Like Juju is still there. You still have nice pieces in the running game, Ramondre Stevenson. You still have some really impressive tight end talent. So I think that there are going to be games where they jump out on teams. I think they're going to be competitive in most games. Love the direction of the team, but I think that this is just a year where they're going to be growing a lot. There's going to be some growing pains, and you can look at them in 2025 as more of a potential contender depending on how things kind of shake out with their roster and the development of some of these young players, but love the direction. Third place, this might surprise some folks. I have the Miami Dolphins. How do they solve their pass game issues? Tua Tagovailoa struggles outside the numbers. Struggles when you take away the middle of the field. Struggles when you change the picture, right? In confusing ways. And a lot of defenses are doing that these days. How do you solve those issues? How do you keep your guys healthy with all the running and motioning that you do on a snap-to-snap basis with all the speed that you play with? Well, one thing you can do is bring in reinforcements with speed. And they certainly did that this offseason. They just added more speed to that offense. That's what they did. But health has really been a concern for this team for a couple years, not being able to finish strong. Defense is taking away what they do best and them not having a counter for it. That's been an issue for Mike McDaniel and these Miami Dolphins. So can they hit their stride at the right time? The answer has been no the last 2 years. I don't really see any reason that will change. I just don't. I'm not sure how they change that narrative. I love the speed. I love the skill position talent like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, all those running backs with incredible speed, Raheem Mostert, you add Jalen Wright. The talent on the defensive side of the ball, I think Anthony Weaver bringing over the Ravens-style defense. It all sounds good. But the bottom line is the offense has not had a good counterpunch in the passing game. And you need your passing game to be effective down the stretch. You need to be as healthy as possible down the stretch. The Dolphins have not had the luxury of those two things over the last couple years. Huge fan of Chop Robinson, who they brought in. Insane explosiveness, the versatility he brings to line up and rush from different spots on the defensive front. Like, I'll believe this team can play their best football late in the season when I see it. That's just the way it is. So I have them finishing in third place and coming just short of the playoffs in 2024, and they're going to have some major questions to answer following the season. Could they make the playoffs? Yes. If their offense is able to play well enough for long enough and their defense is able to play more consistently and stay more healthy, they have a chance of, jumping out to a really nice early season record, getting into the playoffs. But I think this is a competitive AFC, as it has been. It's very competitive, even more competitive in 2024, in my opinion. And I think that this division is going to be incredibly difficult to navigate. Part of the reason I believe that is because the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, can they stay healthy? Both of these teams are dealing with some of the same questions in terms of health, right? The Dolphins and the Jets. But I think if the answer to both of these teams' questions about health is yes, I think the Jets are the better football team. I think that Aaron Rodgers gives you way more answers at quarterback with his arm talent, his experience. He's coming off the Achilles, though. I think that he will be able to. I think he'll be able to overcome the Achilles injury. I think that he just has such an unbelievable arm, and he'll be able to adjust. I love what they did to surround him this offseason. Loved what they did in the draft. Tyron Smith, he's been injured a lot throughout his career as well. You bring in at left tackle. But I love that decision for a couple reasons. A, if he stays healthy, you've got an elite tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers on the left side. B, if he doesn't stay healthy, you did the right thing by drafting Olu Fashanu in the first round. And so I think that they've got a great plan up front with this offensive line. Again, it is all going to depend and hinge on Aaron Rodgers' health and how effective he can be coming off that Achilles. I think he's going to be effective. I think he's going to be good enough. And even if he's not MVP Aaron Rodgers, there is so much talent on this football team. Love the defense at every single level. Like, in my opinion, this is a Super Bowl caliber roster if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. Even if he's not pre-injury Aaron Rodgers, even if he's 80% of that. With these playmakers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall leading the way, a bunch of other talented guys on this offense, upgraded offensive line, the defense. I'm in if Rodgers is healthy, right? Think this is a Super Bowl caliber team if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy. And that leaves one more team in the division, the Buffalo Bills. I have them at the top. They've been at the top for a while. Josh Allen is the ultimate game plan destroyer for defensive coordinators. He's a fire-breathing dragon at quarterback. He's gotten so smart. Will still make some wonky decisions, no question. But he gives you a chance to win every single football game, and he gives you a much better chance than most quarterbacks he's going up against. Bottom line. Unbelievable arm talent. He's gotten, like I said, very smart as he's grown as a quarterback, and he's the most dangerous off-script quarterback on the planet. I really think so. Look at the receivers, the receiving talent, the aggregate of Keon Coleman, who I loved in the draft, Khalil Shakur, Curtis Samuel, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, James Cook out of the backfield. It gets me excited. There's size, there's speed, there's quickness, route running, reliable hands all around. I think Mac Hollins is probably an underrated addition as well. If you can get anything out of Chase Claypool or Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you've got numbers here in the receiving game. And I know you talk about losing Stephon Diggs. Down the stretch last year, they were relying on Shakir and Dalton Kincaid more than Diggs. And they were getting the job done more than Diggs. The OL, I think you have a good starting group. You lose Mitch Morris to my Jacksonville Jaguars. Thank you very much. But I think McGovern can play there. You have some depth. I loved their draft. I really did. Mentioned Keon Coleman. I thought they got great value trading down in the draft, still landing a Keon Coleman. You got Van Pran Granger as your backup center, which gives you some flexibility, not because necessarily he'll play guard, but because if you have an injury at guard, you can kick Van Pran Granger, who is very experienced in there at center potentially, and move McGovern around if you need to. You've got some options there with versatility. You've got some depth at tackle as well. But getting back to this draft, landing Dwayne Carter where they did. To me, this was one of the guys in this draft that actually has potential to be a 3-down defensive line game changer. Like a guy who can do a great job against the run and can give you juice as a pass rusher. Dwayne Carter out of Duke. Big fan of that pick. He's a leader as well. Cole Bishop, to me, that was a great fit. You know, the Buffalo Bills have had such good veteran safeties for so long. I think Cole Bishop fits exactly what they've done for a long time. He's got speed, athleticism, instincts. I think that one makes a lot of sense. Loved Ray Davis. That was my guy at running back in this draft. I think Dwayne Carter I had listed as my guy at defensive line as well. So again, I think Brandon Beane absolutely cooked. But Ray Davis combined with James Cook, I think this running back room has a chance to really take off this year. So the GM absolutely hit it out of the ballpark. Sean McDermott, he's been cooking on defense for a long time. Changed up a lot of his philosophy last year and did it with great success. We'll see what he does this year. Either way, I think they have the talent on that side of the ball to get the job done. I think Joe Brady is cooking. Josh Allen is in the kitchen cooking as well. This team is still a very strong contender. And I think they did a good job replacing a lot of those long-term starting vets with younger guys or guys that have been waiting in the wings to come in and get some reps for them. So I like the plan here in Buffalo. Do I think that they have enough to take down the Chiefs in the playoffs? Probably not. Do I think any team in the NFL has what it takes to take down the Chiefs in the playoffs? Probably not, because the Chiefs, we'll get into them. They're a whole different iteration this year when you look at those receivers, the speed that they brought in. But I think the Buffalo Bills have as good a chance as anyone to dethrone the Chiefs in the AFC. Not a great chance, but as good a chance as anyone. I think the Jets are a strong Super Bowl contender if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. I loved that they fortified the offensive line further in the draft after adding Tyron Smith, after upgrading right tackle as well. The defense is unbelievable. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, two unbelievable talents as well. The Dolphins, I still have questions. The questions I had entering the offseason are still the questions I have right now. Can you play your best football down the stretch? And then with the New England Patriots, I think you're heading in the right direction. I love Drake May, but I think you're at least a year away. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe. You can hit that notification bell. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Really helps out what we're doing. Would love to know what y'all think. If you're a fan of any of these AFC East teams, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're just an NFL fan at large, let me know what you think. Drop your comments below. Y'all have a good one.